will call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Approve the claims in the amount of $14,872,711. Wow.
One note on that, Mayor and Finance Committee members, that is larger than normal by quite a bit. The reason for that is you have $12.8 million in settlement, the second settlement for the year, where we take money in from the county and push it back out to the other taxing jurisdictions. So 12.8 million of that is that. 705,000 is the March 1st debt payments for 2023 A and B bonds. And then $117,000 for the payment on a splash pad.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for putting the, all of the listings into the agenda. That makes it easier. There's no going back and forth. And did I open that one up already? And so and then also transparency. People who are interested can see what's going on. Thank you.
I agree with that comment. Also, Joyce, Sam and I have talked about that a little bit. I think even when I was a council member, but not on finance, I didn't see this amount of
Yes,
detail.
same
I'm sure
here.
I could have gotten it if I requested it, but now it's available for all to see how we're spending money. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Possible action and approval to purchase portable radio from FD Reserve account,
Good evening.
Fire Department account.
This is purchase of an additional portable radio. So we had bought all our portable radios for our members last year, but as luck would have it, they're basically computers now, and we had one that went bad and under warranty had to get sent in, but we don't have reliable spares to give out in the event something gets damaged, broken, or needs repair. So this would be an additional purchase, just have one on hand in the event something gets sent in or we damage a radio. So, and this would come out of our fire department capital reserve account. And what that account is when we sell equipment, surplus equipment, obsolete equipment, that money goes back into this account because all the members of the fire association have paid in, and that money has to stay within the fire department to repurchase equipment.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Possible action to approve the purchase of mobile radios for current projects.
Yep. Excuse me. So these are part of the two projects that were approved in CIP for the new staff vehicle and the mini pumper. Even though these projects are a little ways out, Motorola is offering a 40% discount right now on radios, and we want to get in under that discount in the state pricing for these projects. So we're looking to go ahead for approval for the purchase of these two radios that were already part of the projects that were approved in CIP.
Motion?
Well, I have a question. Okay, yeah, I move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Discussion?
I do have a discussion point, thank you, which is probably aimed to administration and our finance director. So we have, last fall, we voted on our plan, our capital improvement plan, the CIP plan for a 2-year interval, but we haven't funded that yet. Am I correct?
That's right.
Because we have not bonded. We
Yep.
were waiting to bond a bigger package with the Public Works and the Police Department facilities. Is that correct?
That is.
So how, I mean, this is okay that we do this? I mean, we voted to spend it. We have, I don't want to use the wrong term, what fund does it come out of in the meantime?
We would take it from our general fund balance.
General fund balance,
And then that would just go back in once the,
once we do,
yep.
sure. And so, yeah, and we don't want to hold up our department heads with moving forward. I mean, we've bought equipment for Public Works, Police Department is getting squad cars and so on. So even though we haven't bonded for those projects yet, we have the money to do so.
Yep,
So-
and that'll just be a simple journal entry back to the
Sure.
general fund, yes.
Thank you. Thanks for explaining that.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on proposal for a facility canine for the police department. Thank you, Drew.
Good evening, everyone. There's some background in the issue sheet that I provided. Basically, it comes from a grant offering in partnership with the school district that would acquire the dog, acquire the equipment, acquire the first year's vet bills, grooming needs, food needs, things like that. After that, it would be absorbed by the police department. But facility dogs and police departments offer numerous benefits both to officers and the communities we serve. Some of the key advantages are emotional support for the officers. Police officers experience high levels of stress and trauma. Facility dogs provide emotional support, helping to reduce the stress and anxiety and even symptoms of PTSD. Their presence can help officers manage difficult situations and maintain their mental health. It also can be used to assist victims and witnesses. They can be used to comfort victims, particularly children, or those who have experienced traumatic events. The calming presence of a dog can help a victim feel more at ease during interviews or testimony, improving the quality of information gathered. Improving community relations. A police department facility dog demonstrates a commitment to the well-being of both officers and the community. It helps humanize the department and fosters a positive relationship with the public, especially in sensitive or emotional cases. Support for victims. Dogs can assist victims, offering comfort to individuals during police interactions or in victim support settings, such as courtrooms or during counseling sessions. Therapeutic impact on officers and community members. Interactions with a trained dog can lower blood pressure and heart rates, promoting overall well-being. This therapeutic effect can be felt by officers and civilians, reducing tension in high-stress environments. Enhancing crime scene investigations. In certain cases, facility dogs have been trained to assist with crime scene investigations, helping to reduce the emotional toll on the officers and investigators working those investigations. Promoting positivity in the workplace. A dog can enhance morale within a police department, improving the workplace atmosphere and creating a more supporting environment for staff. Also reduce burnout and turnover rates. In essence, facility dogs contribute to improving mental health, building trust within the community, and supporting the overall effectiveness and well-being of police departments. We have tried to calculate the best we can based on our own experience with our own pets, and we figure it's about $3,000 a year for care and maintenance of the dog, and that's without any additional donations that might be received by the department to help assist with those endeavors.
At Public Safety, we discussed some of the issues with what happens if we have to make the tough decision of discontinuing the program, what happens to the animal? It gets absorbed into his handler, correct?
Either that, or if it's still a young age, then it would go back to the training facility for replacement.
You just don't know, so talk that out. But I think mentally it is probably a good idea, and I said to have them bring it down here to council too, so.
Relieve stress.
Yeah,
More for staff after council meeting, I think.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is second to approve. Any discussion?
Well, I have a couple of comments or questions. Have you selected, are you getting a dog that'll come that's already prepared and trained, like someone who has a medical need for support animal, or is your
No,
handler
it's a different
gonna train
type of
them?
training. So
Pardon me?
it's a different type of training.
Yeah,
So the dog will be trained by the facility that we choose to get it from. There's 4 of them that we're looking at right now that are all interested in providing a dog for free. And then the trainer or the handler would go to training a couple hours a week
sure.
with the dog and the facility to basically learn how to read the cues of the dog so that they can know when to remove the dog from a situation or when it's safe to bring the dog to a situation.
Sure. Thank you. And actually, I'm very supportive of this. You know, it's been decades. As those of you who don't know, I have worked as a veterinarian, small animal veterinarian for my entire career. And the human-animal bond, having a tank of goldfish helps relax people. Can't take goldfish out in the patrol car. Just animals being around, but definitely a dog is just going to be a wonderful asset. So I think it's great to have within the department and available just around headquarters there. I think is really good. You commented about the funding coming from the school district. I know you probably have not selected the officer that's going to handle this dog.
Correct.
Is there a likelihood that it would be the school resource officer, or?
No. The school officers are busy enough already.
Sure.
They wouldn't have any time to do anything with the dog.
Sure.
And our plan with this dog would be to really use it as a tool for community outreach as well. And the school officers are pretty much in the schools
In school.
all the time.
Sure. So they would call radio in if they had a situation where they thought.
Right, and we would probably try to roll this in with the community relations position.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think it's a great idea. And I think it'll be great for the staff and the whole community, so appreciate you bringing it forward.
Anybody else? Do we have,
I moved.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Resolution 6-25, amending the 2025 budget for the letter of engagement with SEH Inc. to assist with the RAISE planning grant application.
By way of a bit of background, at the January 21st meeting and Finance Committee and then Council meeting, staff brought forward the letter of engagement with SEH for that RISE grant application. The staff recommendation was to use 11th Street bridge funding to fund that application. However, it sounded like council recommended the use of fund reserves or general fund balance to fund that application. By way of state statute, we really should be doing a budget amendment anytime we are adding an additional expenditure above what was budgeted for in the general fund. So in this case, what's being proposed is taking $18,200 out of the general fund reserves and adding that to the Public Works Engineering Services budget for the year. Anticipating a question from you guys is what is that fund balance at year end? And I'll note this is still very preliminary. We have not had the audit yet for the year, but unrestricted fund balance is just a little bit over $5.8 million.
And I had conversations with Sam in regards to, in the past, we never did have resolutions made for it.
Yep.
So apparently this is a new thing. But my other question I didn't get a chance to ask, is there a minimum? Or is, because now we're getting close to a purchase policy?
No, there is no minimum in the state statute.
Yep.
Okay, so whatever, so if it was $4,000 like for the dog, we would have to do a resolution on our general fund balance reserve.
Yes.
Correct, yep. And then post it in the paper, and it does require a class 1 notice, and I'll note it as well, a 2/3 vote by the council.
Does that apply to any emergencies?
I think it's just, I think it's more than that, Randy. I think it's any amendment to the budget.
Yes.
The way we were talking was discussed that no matter when we touch that reserve, we have to throw a resolution out.
It's, if there's an amendment to the budget, which would then require us to spend more money, which in this case would require us to go to the fund balance. But it's not going to the general fund balance that is what triggers the resolution. It's the fact that we are amending the budget.
Yeah, if you're taking out of one general pool and moving into another, that's when you would need to do it. So if you're taking out of public safety, you're moving into something else.
Isn't that what you're showing on, or deducting and adding?
We're deducting from that fund balance.
Right.
And
you're adding
amending
to
the budget.
engineering service.
Correct. If we were to, in this case, say we're going to cut $18,200 elsewhere within the Public Works budget and spend it on this, we would not need to then do a budget amendment.
Because we backfilled it.
Correct.
Yes, out of something that wasn't part of the general, or the budget itself.
All right.
Yep.
I
So
just, because in the past, we've. that's-
this is something that we
just
should
took
be doing,
from
yes.
there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a procedure and it's a resolution that I've used in the past as well, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, anybody else?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
And there is no other funding mechanism other than this, that we, besides robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You don't want to
Yeah.
answer that.
Wow,
You
you
don't
guys
have
are
to.
equivocating there.
That is,
Where,
if there was a donation fund, maybe, that you take out of a donations fund into something else, maybe.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think of any other funds that would be,
Right, so basically, we're spending money that we hadn't planned to spend.
Correct.
And the staff had suggested that we take it out of a fund that was set aside for a different street, trying to develop or get some movement going. Engineering has already been done and design, or some has been preliminary, so decided to keep it clean, leave that fund designated to the Hagan Street Bridge, basically.
Correct.
And meanwhile, this is a very worthwhile project. It's for those who might not know they're listening in, it's application for a grant to further study the enhancements that could be made for Carmichael north of the freeway, up to the city limits, north past like Hudson Physicians. So not the interchange itself, because of course we can't control that because of DOT, but we're hoping to get funding. And so appreciate the council supporting to spend this money. It takes a lot of tries sometimes, and our engineering staff is working hard at that. And they also have been, we use outside agencies like SEH and other engineering firms to help prepare those grants, because they can be quite complicated. So.
All right, I know we had a motion. Did we have a second?
Yes.
I think Joyce.
So we got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. CIT quarterly report, ongoing services.
Good evening. My name is Andrew. I'm from CIT. Just wanted to give a brief update of some of the milestones or marks that we hit this last quarter. We had our engineer, Alex Friedland, swap all of the body cams, 28 in total, I believe. And so we have those for, I know we've been talking about how to utilize the older ones elsewhere in the city, but he did that. And then we started the first stage of the Ring Central phone migration, so transitioning all of the phone lines, information gathering, and initial assessment. We're identifying and have identified devices that need to be replaced or updated before the Windows 11 or Windows 10 end of life on October 15th. So just with everything else that's going to economically that has happened, we're hoping to get that sooner or those ordered sooner to hopefully lower the price on those devices. We met for our strategic review, so we had a sat down with Chief and Brent and some CIT leadership, and we went over our assessment where there's risk and remediation of that risk. We did a demo of a security product called Verkada, and Brent has used that before, and looking at that as a security solution for the upcoming PD building as well as the rest of the city. It has the ability for that. Speaking of the PD building, engagement with the architecture firm to make sure that the IT space, there is an IT space, there's a closet, it's appropriately located to make sure that there isn't undue cabling or any additional closets that are needed because of cable length restrictions. And then also Brent is going to attend our technology conference called TechCon, May 19th, and it's going to be focused around AI. So helping him get some understanding, and anyone else who attends, what to do with AI, how to implement it, and make sure there's guardrails in place for any information that goes into that.
Okay, questions?
Yes, I do have a question, thank you. I noticed that one of the things you were offering was, cybersecurity awareness training, phishing and so on. And I wondered if it would be appropriate at some point if it wouldn't have to be in person or very elaborate, but if any training for elected officials. Just a refresher of what we should and should not be doing. I got handed an iPad and off we go. Everyone we might be getting different emails depending on who used your iPad before and whether they accepted certain emails. We've used the Barracuda system, and I don't know if that's the system you would recommend. if you still think that's useful.
So that is in place as a phishing protection.
Yes.
This is that training to simulate phishing, to say.
Sure. And is that a program that you recommend? I mean, we've had it here
Yeah,
prior
and
to
if
your coming.
there's a city, you have a city email, we can include you in a list, and we can have quarterly or monthly phishing run.
Sure, well, and one of my questions was about, because sometimes emails do come through, like, I'm repeatedly getting an email from someone who wants to talk to me about street lighting, and maybe that's because I'm on the Public Works Committee, and it's that targeted, I don't know. I generally do not open those emails, but I also do not delete them. Because I'm going by, if I'm understanding now, I'm looking to our experienced legal team about, as an elected official, we're not allowed to delete emails, is that correct?
Well, they're captured anyway,
Pardon me?
they're captured.
Yeah, so they're
Yes.
they're archived, so even if
Yes.
they're deleted, there's a record
Sure.
of that email
Well, so
coming in.
that would be a question, is should I mean, because you did send out a message to us a few months ago, Brent, that a certain message was coming, please do not open. I think you had contacted, and I just think it would be good as a refresher at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe not just on phishing, but that, yes, and I do understand that even if we did delete something, the city is required to keep that as, so if we got an open records request, you can retrieve those emails based on search words or names or content or something. So, at any rate, I just thought, I know we've talked about how to make sure we're on point as elected officials, and I thought that might be an area that we could brush up. Especially, am I correct that we might be getting new iPads in the next foreseeable future? Or not? I thought it was
I don't think we have that one on the list yet.
At least this year.
Yeah, I think,
no problem. I
we
don't have
talked
any.
about it, but it seemed like all the iPads were still working
Sure.
in decent
And
shape,
mine
so.
is reasonably, but that's a long story.
Yeah,
have a few
I wrote that down, so during our bi-weekly meetings, I'll talk to Brent on kind of hashing out those, that information and scheduling a time.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anybody else? Okay,
Thank you.
good to see you, thanks. All right, the last item we're pulling from the agenda, it'll be taken up on March 17th.
We've got a couple other pieces we have to throw together with that last item there.
So, I don't have anything, anybody?
Move to adjourn.
Well, I have one comment, if I could.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest, and I did mention this to Mayor O'Connor, that we start our meetings at 6:30. I believe in the past that has been a start time for finance and allows more time for discussion. I don't know if that's a hindrance to committee members to be here at 6:30 based on work or family commitments.
No, that's not a problem.
And I know that there are times when we start even at 6, but anyway, I just wanted to throw that idea out because we are often running over past 7 and then we
If
don't
the
get to
agenda
start.
is really short, there's no need to be here at 6:30, but so I think it should be up to the city administrator to,
And it
make
is
it-
tricky if we change it.
Yeah.
I agree, if it's suddenly, oh, we're starting at 6:30 and we all thought it was at
Better
6:45.
to keep the standard time, whatever
So,
that might be.
I just wanted to throw that idea out
So,
for discussion and
I
thinking.
apologize. After the conversation we
Yes.
had, I've talked to these guys, and I was going to announce tonight that we're gonna start them at 6:30 going forward.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, if that's, I think it does allow more time. It's an important committee for us to discuss, so
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, anybody else?
I've already made the motion to adjourn.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody. 5 minutes, council will start.